Hi, I'm Emmy Baba Yaga. Welcome to my cabin, a place for honest stories, difficult questions, old wisdom, and the strange work of being human. Come in, sit by the fire, and let's begin. I want to talk today about trust. After someone has severely broken your trust, people often tell you that healing means learning to trust again. They say it as though trust is a door you once opened easily, and healing means swinging it wide once more. But I'm not so sure that is always true. Some betrayals change the way you understand people. They remove a kind of innocence. Once you have discovered that someone you loved could lie to you, manipulate you, hide things from you, or knowingly cause you harm, you cannot entirely unknow that lesson. You may never trust another person in quite the same blind and unquestioning way again, and perhaps you should not. We do not truly know everything inside another human being. We cannot hear every thought, see every private choice, or predict every future decision. Even people who genuinely love us can act selfishly. They can become frightened, ashamed, tempted, defensive, careless, or cruel. They can make choices that damage the very relationship they value. That is not cynicism. It is a part of the human experience. It is not wrong to leave a small room in your heart for the possibility that one day you may discover that someone has been dishonest with you. It is not unhealthy to understand that love does not make betrayal impossible. The loss of blind trust is not always the same thing as the loss of love. We live with this kind of measured trust every day. When we drive, we trust the people in the other lane not to cross the center line and hit us head on. We trust the driver behind us to stop when the light turns red. We trust strangers moving at high speed beside us, though we know accidents happen and people sometimes make reckless choices. Because we know that, we wear seatbelts, we check our mirrors, we pay attention. We do not usually call this paranoia, we call it driving responsibly. Healthy relationships may require something similar. We can trust someone while still remembering that they are human. We can love them without pretending they are incapable of deception. We can relax without becoming blind. We can remain aware without treating every silence, late arrival, or changed expression as evidence of betrayal. There is a difference between awareness and hypervigilance. Hypervigilance keeps the body in a constant state of alarm. It searches for danger in every moment and demands proof over and over again. It can turn a relationship into an interrogation room where every action is examined and every mistake becomes suspicious. That is exhausting for everyone involved, especially the person carrying the fear. But the answer is not blind trust. The answer is discernment. People often say trust is the most important part of a relationship, and I am not convinced of that. I believe reliability may be much more important. Trust is a feeling, and feelings can rise or fall depending on our history, fear, exhaustion, and circumstances. Reliability is something we can observe. Does this person consistently do what they say they will do? Do their words match their behavior? When they make a mistake, do they admit it without twisting the story? Can they tolerate an uncomfortable conversation without punishing you for asking? Do they tell the truth even when the truth does not flatter them? Do they take responsibility, repair harm, and change repeated behavior? Are they emotionally present when life becomes difficult, or only when the relationship is easy? These patterns matter more than promises. Long-term, repeated reliability creates confidence. Honest, open, vulnerable conversations create safety. Accountability creates safety. Consistency creates safety. A willingness to tell the truth before being caught creates safety. Over time, these things are often what we call trust. But it is not blind trust. It is trust with evidence. It is confidence that has been built slowly through hundreds of ordinary moments. It is knowing that while another person remains capable of hurting you, you have repeatedly shown that they take the responsibility of loving you seriously. Perhaps healing does not mean returning to the person you were before betrayal. Perhaps it means becoming something wiser, someone who no longer confuses love with certainty, someone who does not demand impossible guarantees but does pay attention to patterns, someone who can recognize danger without seeing danger everywhere, someone who understands that no relationship comes without risk, yet also knows that some people are worth taking the risk for. Because that may be the deepest truth about trust. We are never given absolute certainty. We are given choices. We choose whom to believe. We choose how much access to offer. We choose when to move closer and when to step back. We choose whether someone's repeated actions have earned greater vulnerability. And sometimes, after our trust has been shattered, healing is not learning to trust blindly again. It is learning that we do not have to. Healing may be allowing ourselves to remain aware without remaining closed. It may be accepting that love always carries some risk, because another person will always remain separate from us, capable of choices we cannot control and truths we cannot fully know. Healing is not convincing ourselves that we will never be hurt again. It is becoming willing to be open to the possibility of love, even while knowing that hurt remains possible. It is finding someone whose honesty, consistency, vulnerability, and reliability meet our needs sufficiently that taking the risk begins to feel worthwhile. Not perfectly safe, not guaranteed, just worthwhile. It is allowing trust to grow slowly, not because we have forgotten what happened before, but because this person continues to show us who they are. Healing may mean learning to live peacefully with awareness, to notice without constantly searching, to question without interrogating, to remain open without becoming naive, to love without surrendering our discernment. We may never again possess the blind trust we once had, but perhaps blind trust was never the goal. Perhaps the goal is something steadier, to see the risk clearly, to choose carefully, and when someone proves themselves worthy, to open the door anyway. Thank you for joining me in the cabin. To learn more, visit babayagascabin.com. Until next time, be curious, be courageous, and walk wisely through the woods.